Hello, this is Ken. In today's video, I would like to share my advice regarding how to demonstrate problem-solving skills at work. So as a lot of you just started your career in your first full-time job after graduation, throughout your kind of interview and job hunting process, you probably came across a lot of job ads that has a bullet point that says, right, you must be a problem solver. So it sounds very straightforward, right? You want to solve problems for the organization. That's what they want to hire you. So the words itself is not too complex to actually understand why people ask for problem solvers to hire, or you have to have certain abilities to demonstrate that you can solve problems, especially for all of you that just graduated from college. That's not a big deal, right? You're capable of solving problems, right? You pass all the final exams, for God's sake, and you can definitely solve problems. But that's not actually what they're looking for, as you can imagine. But the question is, what exactly does that look like inside a working environment, inside an organization? What does problem solving look like practically? What do you have to do to demonstrate you are a problem solver? So that's what I wanted to kind of share a little bit today in terms of how to demonstrate that. So I will give you a very practical example of what that means in the workplace. So here's the example I'll give you. Your boss sends you an email and say, hey, I just received this customer complaint about the purchase that they made, and then they're unable to get a refund. Can you look at this whole complaint and tell me what's going on? That's an example. So somewhere along the line of you carrying out your day, you're gonna get asked to perform something. That may not be the normal type of work that you usually are responsible for, but whether or not those type of ad hoc asks from your peers or from your manager comes to you, those are the opportunities for you to demonstrate you are a problem solver. So let's just go back to that example. So if your boss sent you an email and say, look at this big long complaint about the customer's purchasing experience that couldn't get a refund, so on and so forth. So you look at it, naturally what you probably would do is you would go in and research everything about that transaction, right? Because your boss asked you about what's going on with this. So we naturally wanted to respond to that question by giving all the facts, the event, right? The customer made the order of this on this day with that price, and then later on this, a couple days later, the customer reached out, and then 5 days later, here's what we replied to them. So naturally, you probably want to respond to the question by giving the manager or whoever that sent you the request all the facts about the event. Nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what you probably need to do to contribute to solve the problem. But hold on, you haven't really solved anything. The only thing you have done is to give and research the facts back to the manager. So who actually will take that information and solve the problem? Well, let's take a step back. What is the problem? The problem that needs to be solved is how to respond back to this customer. That's actually the ask from your manager that was never asked, right? So take a step back and look at this. When your manager asks you to do something or asks you certain questions, we naturally just try to answer that specific question inside the email or however that question came about. But that's not the reason the question was asked. Your manager asked you for information because they tried to solve something that they did not explain to you inside the email. So that's where you can become a problem solver. By understanding every time you get a question like that, what exactly is your manager trying to solve with the information you're about to give them back? How do they intend to use that information? What is the underlying problem that wasn't included in the email that led to why your boss asked you for the information that he or she are asking you to find? That's where you contribute the most. So my recommendation is always, along with all the facts that you are trying to respond to your managers, ask about what's going on with this customer and all the transactions that led to this email. You should always include, based on all the findings, here's what I recommend. And you should make that recommendation back to your manager that sent you the original question. Because that is the value add that the manager didn't ask you, and yet you kind of demonstrated you know why the ask was made. That gives a different level of your contribution than normal people or normal staff that would just answer the question. Oh, here's what happened to the customer. Here's all the event, here's the date, here's the time, and that's why you're getting this complaint. That still did not solve what the manager need to solve. But after you give all that, you say, you know what, boss, along with that, I assume you're trying to figure out how to respond to the customer. Here's my recommendation based on my finding that I think here's what we need to do with the customer. And then you provide a very straightforward recommendation in a way your manager can cut and paste your email directly back to the customer. For example, along with all your fact-finding information in your response, you can also say, maybe we should just let the customer know the following as my recommendation. Yes, you're a valuable customer. You have made many great purchases with our business, and hopefully you enjoy our product. We understand the frustration, but since you're only 2 days after the return policy of 30 days, you're only 2 days over, we definitely will make an exception to honor, you being a customer. So you literally tell the manager that you would recommend go ahead and honor the refund and maybe plus a 10% of discount, whatever. And then you provide the rationale to your manager saying, because this customer actually made a lot of purchase with us and never had a problem. So we want to make sure this customer is taken care of because we can predict this customer continue gonna do business with us. So that is your value add. That is what true problem solver actually demonstrates. They solve things that the managers or the team did not ask. But every time they ask you to perform something, there's an underlying goal they try to get to. Now, most of the staff will just respond based on what the question I asked for. And then what I have to do is I have to now interpret the facts and actually spend the time to decide what do I want to do with this customer, what the response should be. But if any one of the person on my team or my staff not only tell me the facts and draw a conclusion and give me a recommendation, 90% of the time those recommendations I would just accept because they're right. I would have drawn the same conclusion. So not only they answer my question and solve what I'm asking for, they also solve what I did not ask and make my life a lot easier. So that's how you will want to demonstrate problem solving skills, is to do that one extra leg of work, right? Just to think about, why did my team or my boss ask me for this? What is the intention? So stop just responding to the exact questions that they ask of you. Start delivering the outcome that led to why they're asking for what they're asking. If you continually to do so and demonstrate that, you will become a valuable part of the organization and the team, because now you're truly a problem solver that always helped the organization solve problems that was never asked. All right, hopefully you find this useful. Subscribe to my channel, and I will continually to post new videos to give you some more advice or tips. All right, thank you.